Are the new members? Y'all are out, aren't you? Yeah, okay. So we'll get started with our meeting. For those of you here live, and then for those of you on Facebook or YouTube, thanks for coming in. We'll start off with Jeremy Gunnels, see if he has any information. Hang on, come up here and say it so we can get it on the... All right, well, go ahead. Update something, what? Update your blocks in Arbiter. And if you block it after he assigns it, it doesn't count. And so you're still liable for it. All right. Mike, you have anything? No? Make sure y'all get into Mike if you hadn't paid your dues yet. Get that taken care of. Larry?
Okay. God, we got a big crowd tonight. Just joking. Okay, we've got a few things to talk about. First, I want to say that on coaches' call-ins, had very few, and the ones that we've had have been very complimentary, saying that crews have done an outstanding job. They like the professionalism. So just keep that up, guys. Yeah, we've got a few plays sent in, but it's nothing really big, you know. And but anyway, just keep up the good work. Stay professional, and let's keep that those calls coming in. Okay. On that note, now this may seem like a minor deal that I'm majoring on the minor here, but you know, we call. When we are doing this, we try to be as professional as we possibly can, and that goes to like well, just Coach Turner here. I still call him Coach Turner, even though he's not a coach. But now here I might refer to him as Matt Turner, but on the field I'm going to refer to him as Coach Turner. So that goes into saying that whenever we're doing these emails to our coaches, don't say, "Hey, Tom, we're going to be at the game at 5:30 on Friday night." It should be, "Hey, Coach Brown, we're going to be at your game 5:30 Friday night. Where do we dress? Da, 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 da." Some of you are addressing them like, you know, "Hey, it's a friendly day," and it is friendly, but, you know, we want to be as professional as we possibly can. So if you're one of them that are addressing them with their first names, let's try to put Coach Smith, Coach Jones, or whatever their last name is. And when you're at the game, you refer to them as such. Coach Jones, Coach Smith. Now, if you're at church Sunday morning, you might call him John or Bill or Sue or whatever his name is. But at the game, let's keep it a professional atmosphere and call him Coach so-and-so. Scrimmages. We have 2 scrimmages on Thursday night and 2 on Friday night, and I think we've got Thursday covered in Corsicana, and we've got Friday covered at Pine Tree. Now, I'd still like a couple of guys to go to Pine Tree. So if you're a new guy or a fairly new guy or whatever, and you're not assigned anything on Friday night, let me know. It's a paid assignment. You're going to get the $55 game fee plus travel, and that would be travel from Tyler to Longview, which falls into the 30-mile category. So that's about $85 for working the scrimmage. So at Corsicana, we're doing the same deal. So now your mileage will be different, of course. Okay. So anyway, and then if you're going to any of these scrimmages that you're being paid for, be sure and take your pay sheet with you and your W-9 so that you can give them to the coach and so that you can get paid. Again, see me or Jeremy or Josh isn't here, but see one of us after the meeting to let us know if you can go to a scrimmage, because if you don't, we'll be calling you. Okay, the next thing is on the kicking game. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, Brad Frisbee did an excellent presentation on the kicking game. And I've had a couple of reports come in about mistakes that we've made on the kicking game, and I just want you to this is a good thing to go over on your pregame. You know, I know kicking game is something that doesn't come up very often. You could actually have 2 kicks for a football game. So it doesn't hurt to review the kicking game either every week or every few weeks during the season. I know we had an illegal touch blown dead. What do you have in that case? An inadvertent whistle, re-kick. That's right. So just because you touch that, just because he touches it doesn't kill the ball. It's still a live play. So anyway, review those rules. Okay, this next deal is, you know, we hear it every year, and I'm going to say it again this year. Be careful what you say in the locker rooms, because these locker rooms have ears. And so, if there's something that went on during the game and you want to talk about it, or you want to, say, hey, Coach so-and-so is a, da-da-da-da-da, well, then wait till you get in the car to do it, because it could come back to bite you. Now, another thing is, if coaches come in your locker room after the game, that's your sanctuary. So, I know it's their locker room and their field, but you can ask the coach politely, hey, Coach, do you mind? We're getting dressed, we're debriefing or whatever. So I would suggest that our players, we've had players, or just when they come in there, they're usually not in there that long, so don't say anything when they get in there. Just be aware that they're in there. But again, the best thing to do is, if you've got something to say, wait till you get away from the premises, in the car, in the truck, or whatever, to say whatever it is you got to say. Incident reports. We've had our fair share of incident reports the last couple of weeks. They're really good. The guys that are filling them out they're being right to the point. They're not giving us they're giving us the Reader's Digest version of what happened, that sort of thing. One thing I did notice is, if it's targeting, it's targeting. It's not something else. So make sure, if it's targeting, make sure that you call it targeting. And also, you need to identify the schools. Like, don't just say number 52, call me a name. Say 52 from Pine Tree, call me a name, or whatever. You have to identify the school, or he'll kick them back. Okay, if any officials are hurt during a football game, Chad or I or Josh need to know about it. This is something we want to know about. So, and I don't care if it's 11:30 or midnight. Give us a call. That's okay for me. Give us a call, because we need to know. First, we want to know how the guy is. Was he taken to the hospital? Was he taken to see Brad or whatever? But we need to know. We need to know if somebody's injured or hurt during the game. So be sure and please let us know as soon as you can. And any questions? You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. And hopefully we'll have a week 4. I will say this. Last week there was 120 cancellations throughout the state. 120. Now, not all of them were COVID, but I would probably venture to say about 115 were COVID and 5 were hurricane, what was the hurricane's name? Laura. It was Laura's fault. So I don't know how it's going to look this week, but hopefully it's getting better, not worse.
All right, thanks you guys. Lance? Buddy?
It's all right. So this is just a screenshot of the where you can get this on the Tasso website. You go to I think you click on mechanics manuals, and there's 5-man, 7-man. Okay. Well, even easier. So just get you a copy of this, man, and start reading it. It's good stuff. I promise you, it's very well done. It's as done as good or better than the National CCA manual. Go ahead. Okay, so this is what we'll cover today. We'll go over the pregame duties on the field, coin toss, ball handling, free kick positioning. Next. You guys are going to have to get on the board up there. Yes, sir. What are they complaining about? Y'all quit complaining. If you're sitting at home, y'all quit complaining to Stephen. We'll go over free kick keys, free kick responsibilities of each official, short kicks, plays from scrimmage, and keys on basic plays. Next. I just can't hardly see that back there. Okay, so pregame duties. I'm really big on pregame. The manual says be there an hour and a half ahead of time, which puts you there at what time? 6 o'clock. So that hour and a half goes really fast. Seems like the last 30 minutes is just really a blur when you spend a lot of time on the field. So it means you only have an hour to get there, get your car parked, get inside, get dressed, and do some sort of pregame. So it's really better to be there at 5:30, about 2 hours ahead of time. Back judge, what you want to make sure you do is ensure that you have the correct time. It's easy nowadays on your cell phone. Those things are updated second by second. Make sure you got it at the right time. Make sure all your co-officials have the right time. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute, why you might want to do that. Side judge, make sure you have a good watch that in case you can keep time, need to keep time in case the game clock goes out. And then everybody needs to be ready to be on the field 15 minutes prior. Doesn't mean you have to be there, can't be there ahead of time. As a matter of fact, we'd like to see you on the field probably half hour ahead of time. But we need to make sure that we're on the field at least 15 minutes before game time. Anytime there are players on the field, we expect officials to be on the field and watching these players warm up, make sure there's no interaction between teams that doesn't need to go on. Let's see, a referee and a back judge inspect the field for hazards, unusual markings. Umpire, you're going to be checking player equipment. Like I said, there's a lot of crossover between 5- and 7-man mechanics. Head linesman, line judge. It's important that you go ahead and instruct and organize your chain crew. I know it's easy just to say that and take that for granted. I would venture that probably 70% of our crews maybe don't do that. I've been able to watch a lot of football games from the stands the last few years. I've also been a beneficiary of being able to work with a lot of crews because I'm kind of a free agent. I don't work on a crew. I just get called from time to time when I'm available and to fill in. This year I've been able to work with several different crews already and have the opportunity to work with at least 2 more different crews. And so I get to see the different ways that you guys do things. Some crews will go instruct the chain crews and the ball boys and stuff, and some find that that's not helpful. I would say that it is. It'll help you during the game to just eliminate some snafus that can happen during the game. You want to handle it. You want to be proactive and not reactive. Back judge, you'll make sure you inspect and mark the game balls, and it's okay to get some help from some people if you want to, like your side judge and field judge. Next, side judge and field judge, organize and instruct your ball persons on positioning. So if your headlines and line judge are taking care of the chain crew, side judge and field judge, you can help with the ball markings just like we talked about, and also go ahead and take care of the ball persons. Side judge, have your home team captains. Okay, this is my little routine and I'm kind of big on this because I got reamed out one time for not having my captains on the sideline at 3 minutes, ready to walk out. So I use this kind of like 6-5-4 rule. I just kind of made that up, but At 6 minutes, you want to tell the coach you're ready. You want to be in the dressing room at like 7:23, and you don't want to be like at 7:26. My captains aren't out here. Where are they? They're supposed to be. Well, they're not out here because you didn't get them. Okay, they're not out here on the field because the coach is in there amping them up, getting them ready to go kick somebody's tail. So you got to be proactive. And so at 7:24 or so, you need to make your appearance known in the dressing rooms, and that just tells the coach, assistant coaches, everybody, oh, okay, this is fixing to happen. We need some captains. At 5 minutes, you need to be leaving the dressing room. So at 7:25, you need to be leaving your dressing rooms. At 7:26, you need to have your captains ready to walk out. Now that's a full minute before a coin toss, right? Because coin toss is 7:27. So that's a full minute ahead of time, but that gives you some slack time and gives you time to get your captain this year, make sure that they're ready to go. And then at 3 minutes, you referees need to be ready to go ahead and bring that captain out. The referee and the umpire goes out there ahead of time, and so they need to be out there at 7:26. You need to make sure that you're out there. You need to make sure you're not walking out at 7:27, and then what do you know? So I'm just big on getting the kickoff off done in the proper amount of time. So just make sure that you do that. Now your side judge and field judge are the ones responsible for getting those captains, and you're going to walk your captains out to the 9-yard marks. Your captain or captains, hopefully next year. You're going to walk them out to the 9-yard marks, and then they're on their own. And then you're going to stay there in case other folks want to come out, other players want to come out to the 9-yard marks. You'll stay there and you'll hold them there. Let's see. The side judge and field judge are responsible for captains, head linesmen, and line judge are responsible for teams. So I hope that helps you a little bit because I've already been with one crew this year, and they're just kind of like, well, they wouldn't come. Well, why wouldn't they come? Because you didn't make them. You weren't in there because you're on the field and you're waiting for them to walk out of the dressing room. Why not be in the dressing room escorting them out? And if you'll just go ahead and get that captain out, then the rest of the team gets the picture, and you don't have this problem. There was a game I think that same game I was a part of where the the home coach was getting irate because the visitors would never come out. We ended up kicking off at like 7:33. And so he's just like, come on, you guys may, and especially if we're not doing the same thing. If one official is getting them out and the other one's still on the field, scratching his head, if we're not consistent on both sides, then the coaches will sometimes get irritated. It's just not the way to start the game off. Next. Coin toss, spike position, kickoffs. Okay. Referee, you're going to be in the middle of the field, the end zone of the receiving team. Head linesman and line judge. So instead of having 2 guys back there, we got 3. So instead of the referee carrying one of his wing guys back there with him on the kickoff, he carries both. And you're just on your respective sidelines. Now up top, we've got the side judge, field judge, head linesman, and line judge. And I'm sorry. We got the side judge, field judge, back judge, and umpire. So the side judge and field judge is real easy. You just get on the receiving team restraining line. And you've got probably the most, hair-raising job potentially of the kicking game. And that is, on short kicks and whether it goes 10 yards or not, and who's blocking, who's not, and all that stuff. But that's your basic position, is on the receiving team restraining line. And then your umpire is going to be on kicking team restraining line opposite the press box, and the back judge will be on the side of the press box. And the back judge hands the ball, retreats off to the sideline, then the referee can blow it ready. So any questions so far on anything? Position, pregame duties, coin toss, any of that. Okay, next. All right, so this is just a diagram out of that manual of where everyone's supposed to be. You can't see the R, it's between the A and the S there on the tasso. There's the R. So he's just in the middle in the end zone a little bit. You got your headlines and your line judge on their respective sidelines at the pylon. And then, like we said, the field judge, side judge are going to be on the receiving team restraining line. And we got the kickers going this way, and the umpire and the back judge right there on the kicking team restraining line. So after the next diagram shows what happens after the kick. No, go back. Okay, so just the second diagram here shows that the side judge and the field judge are going to move down 10 yards. And then the umpire and the head linesman, the umpire and the back judge are going to move in towards the middle of the field. So if they're moving in and it's a long kickoff all the way back, it's a run back, who has goal line responsibility? Side judge and field judge. Because umpire and back judge are coming to the middle, and they're going to stay in the middle in case of a long run back. So side judge and field judge got to go all the way back. Okay? All right, next. Okay, so it's a little bit hard to see, but basically your side judge and your field judge, if you're working these positions, you need to take the number 2 and number 3. So if we count from the bottom of the screen, there's 1, 2, 3. You have 2 and 3. Count from the top of the screen, 1, 2, 3 down, you have 2 and 3. And so who gets those outside guys? Actually, the head linesman and the line judge should watch them initially after the ball is kicked. Okay, yes, it's a long ways to watch, but what else are you watching? Okay, and they're left sort of unattended, unkeyed, if you will. And so the line judge, although there's not an arrow here, you just take my word for it, the line judge should be looking at number 1, and the H should be looking at number 1 up top. And so, sir?
That could be very brief, because that ball kicked in there.
Absolutely, yes. Larry makes a point that could just be a brief moment in time, and yes, it can. Remember, these are keys to start off. Okay, it's not like you're going to be glued to them the entire play. It's man's own ball, pretty much on any play, pass, play, kick play, run play, whatever. So just officiate the dang play, but this is your initial keys. Very good point. Umpire and back judge, since you're going to the middle, guess where your keys are? In the middle. Okay, so that's the guys that you want to watch. You want to make sure that they're not blocked low upon, that they don't block anybody low. You want to make sure that they're not blindside blocked upon. You want to make sure that they don't go down there, and if you got nothing else to watch, you got those 2 guys to watch. Make sure that they don't go down there and do something after the play is over. So those are your keys. Go ahead. Next slide, short kick, initial position. This is what we call 6 in the box. And what you'll notice, the referee's down there by himself. Whether he's at the 5 or at the goal line or wherever, he can be where he wants to be. But the head linesman's going to leapfrog the side judge. The line judge leapfrogs the field judge. And that's where our short kick, our onside kick mechanic comes into play. And that's how we're going to work that. The field judge and side judge in this case, look, there's a lot of things. Everybody I get sort of amped up. I got like, it's me onside kick. This is the game. I got to get this right. The side judge and field judge, you've really got one main responsibility. Did the ball go 10 yards? Was it touched before 10 by the kicking team? Or was it allowed to go 10 yards and everything's setting up to be legal? So you've got to watch that. Head linesman and line judge, I want you guys watching for illegal blocks below the waist by the kicking team, trying to go down there and clear out. I want you watching for valid, invalid, fair catch signals, and whether or not we have a fair catch or not. And then back judge and umpire, you're highly scrutinizing the kicking team's restraining line to see if they went beyond their restraining line on a short kick if they're offside, basically. So if it's a short kick, that comes under high scrutiny. If it's not a short kick, of course, we're going to back off of that and make one solid foot be planted down before we call offside. But on a short kick, it's a hard plane. It's a hard plane. We're not going to let them get that advantage because the field just shortened by their own act. of kicking a short kick. They made it that way. They want to do a short kick. Okay, we're going to hold you highly accountable. Next slide. Yes. That needs to be your, anybody can watch that. Side. So, okay, who is to watch that? It'd be your side judge or field judge. It's okay to look at that ahead of time before the ball is kicked and not just be watching for the 10 yards. And it's also okay for your head linesman and line judge to be looking for that. Now, I'm sure deep in the mechanics manual somewhere it says specifically who is supposed to watch that. But I'm telling you, there's 4 guys that can watch that. Because what else do you have to do pre-kick? I can't think of anything else you have to do. Go ahead. They kick it to the 20. Okay, so what Chad's asking is, okay, it's setting up for a short kick situation, but coach says, hey, let's squib it to the 20, right? So if they're going to squib it to the 20 or just do like a pooch kick or whatever, then your field judge and your side judge got to recognize it. Oh, everybody got fooled, including us. We're going to go down and get progress. The head linesman and the line judge are used to getting progress, correct? But not here. Just go officiate the play. Yes, just go officiate the play. Yes, sir. I've never seen anyone get downgraded in that situation, but it makes the most sense that they're the closest. They're also probably some of the most fleet-footed on the crew, probably. And so that's who you want to do that. Next slide. Plays from scrimmage. So we've kicked off, and now we got some scrimmage plays. Let's see. Okay, just basically all this is showing is that for the side judge and the field judge are 20 yards away from the line judge and head linesman. So you want to start out 20 to 22 yards away. And you want to be, it shows it 20 here, like a hard 20, but like you can be 21, 22, 23, just be the same. Next. Okay, forward pass play. Actually skip this because it's just not a real good modern slide. Go ahead and skip this one. Okay, so now we get to be there's a more realistic formation that we might see these days. So go back. Trigger finger up there. Okay, so it's twins, right? So, hey, head linesmen and line judges in the room, if you're working this game and you got a side judge and a field judge, just basically leave the outside guys to us. Just leave them to us unless they cross. Okay? Guess what? Your job just got a whole lot easier. Your game, everything, you can just relax a little bit. You got fewer guys to watch. So the key for the field judge and side judge is always going to be your number 1 receiver. Again, starting from the outside going in, where we count that outside guy as number 1. In this case, the back judge is going to get this number 2 receiver because he always cheats to which side in a balanced formation? So let's say it. Somebody say it. Okay, the back judge always cheats to the line judge side in a balanced formation, okay? And so the side judge at the top is going to get number 1. The head linesman comes in and gets number 2. That gives the line judge sort of like not a whole lot to do, right? So let's assign him someone, and let's give him that one back. So you got a quarterback, and you got a tailback here, and that's it. It's a one back set. So the line, if that tailback goes out in the flat or something, then the line judge is responsible for him and immediately. If he's blocked upon or something, the line judge is responsible for him. The point here is everybody knows who everybody's got, and that everyone's accountable for someone. This initial key's at the snap. Next slide. All right, I really don't want to go over this slide too much. All you need to know is that in your key, the man that you're keying on is at the snap. Okay, so if you've got a motion man that changes, go back to that previous slide. So like, if this back comes in motion towards the line judge side, and let's say he comes all the way out all the way out, and he sets up right beside the sideline, okay, right before the snap. Then the field judge no longer he becomes number one, and the field judge has him, okay? The line judge, now we got trips, which is a totally different situation. The line judge takes number two, and the back judge takes the inside guy, okay? So just here, we'll go over here more here in a minute when we look at trips formation, but just know that what's important is what happens at the snap. All right, so go to the next slide. Hope I'm explaining that accurately or well enough. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, trips. Here's your trips formation. This is what I was talking about. So how many receivers are there here? How many potential people can receive the ball? How many say 5? This is just a trivia question. I love to throw this in there. There's actually 6 because a quarterback's eligible too. So I got you. All right, but here's our keys. Side judge, field judge, number 1 receiver, right? On the trips formation, does the back judge care who's the line judge and the head linesman? Does he care? He no longer cares because trips trumps line judge. If you've got trips, that's more important than worrying about line judge or head linesman side. That's what basically the philosophy of the mechanics is. So if you've got trips and you're a back judge, your focus automatically goes towards the trip side. You're not worried about the twin side down here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, you've got guys to cover that. So the back judge is always going to have the inside receiver. The side judge, field judge, have the outside receiver, which leaves your regular wing guy with the middle guy. Number 2. So that's your keys at the snap for trips formation. Next. 4 receiver sets. Look, again, this is one of those things, just officiate the play. There's a mechanic for it, yes. Your side judge takes the outside, the back judge takes the inside, and then the head linesman, and he's sharing, well, he's taking 2 guys here. I've seen this drawn up different ways. The head linesman's going to take the guy in the backfield. The back judge essentially is taking the middle guy that's on the line. And so, but just officiate the play. I mean, that's my best advice for you here. The only difference here, like I said, is, and here they get squirrely with it and say this is where you got 4 receivers lined up. I mean, how many times do we see this? Like once a year? I mean, just officiate the play. So it's on here. There's a way you can go study it if you want to. Slow this down just a little bit. We haven't talked about this. Can we pause? Okay. So let's work through a play real quick. We start out 20 yards deep if we're a side judge or a field judge, and we want to maintain that. So we call that the cushion. All right? And so we want to maintain that. And this is just a play here where you'll see the deep wing. I want you to watch the action at the top of the screen. You have a wing guy, and then you're going to have a deep wing. And what happens here is the deep wing, what we say, gets beat. He fails to recognize that the cushion is his friend. So go ahead and play it, and be ready to stop if you don't mind. Stop. Whoa. All right, so he's still in his back pedal, okay? And so at this point, actually way before this point, he's beat. He just doesn't realize it 100% yet. So the receiver that is coming into his area is at the 35-yard line. That's who the ball's being thrown to. And he's at the 28-yard line. And so he's 7 yards away. He has not maintained his cushion, and he is fixing to feel the full repercussions of that. Not in terms of like physically getting hit or anything, but he's going to be embarrassed here. Okay, go ahead and let it play. Because they get up on him and they pass him, and he's like, oh, what do I do now? And then who's got goal line coverage? So go ahead and replay it. You can start it over. So stop. Okay, when that receiver was about at the 50, he needed to turn from this to this and run with his head on a swivel. Okay? So when you see that, if you're working side or field and you see that receiver make that demonstrative move to go downfield, you better turn from doing this to doing this. and it can happen like that. So, all right, so in the coaching world, they call that the get off, okay? When you see that receiver, and he's just not going down here and just kind of run blocking or whatever and taking a play off. When you see him kick it into that second gear, you had better respect that. And when he does that, I do this. And I turn immediately. And I'll do it 50 times a game, and they won't throw him the ball. But the 52nd and 53rd and the 54th time, they'll throw him the ball. I skipped 51, didn't I? You get my point. You're going to go through the mechanic, you're going to get tired, and you're going to get tired of turning and getting fooled and them not throwing your guy the ball. But 2, 3, 4 times a game, they're going to throw him the ball, and it's going to be great if you have your cushion and not look like this guy. No offense to this guy. He just didn't recognize it. And then he thought the guy was going to go down or something. I'm not sure what he was thinking. And so, he's got him out of bounds? Okay. I didn't see that. So play it back one more time. So watch the receiver. Boom. You see that at the 50, he hits that freaking stride, man. And when he hits that, you better go.
I got a question about this play.
Mm-hmm.
Should he, since he got beat,
Mm-hmm.
he was there, go ahead and stop the clock? Otherwise, he should have been on the goal line, and the head linesman would have ran down there and got the spot.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the play's at your feet, then go ahead and do it if you want to. Officiate the play, mark him out of bounds, whatever, I got it, and then let your wing guy come and get it from him, and you go ahead and retreat and tuck your tail between your legs and go get where you're supposed to be. Yes, I'll have that once or twice a year, where it just happens at my feet. I got whatever beat or whatever. It was a long pass play. I was just not paying enough attention, and it happens at my feet, or it's 2 yards away, and I'll just go ahead and get it. Or I'll look at my co-officials back there, and he's got coaches in his way or something, and I'm like, well, okay, let somebody get this spot. Okay, but you don't retreat upfield to get the spot. Let me be clear. You don't, and I see a lot of high school, I watch a lot of football guys. I've been to a lot of playoff games. I've seen a lot of crews from different areas. I see a lot of deep wings coming up and getting spots, and it's just cringeworthy. As an official, I'm sure the average person watching the game doesn't even notice or care, but I'm just like, oh gosh, don't do that. All right, go ahead. How are we on time? Are we done? Hold on. I really. All right. All right. Let's watch this one. I'm going to take y'all's time up tonight. Y'all got extra 5 or 10 minutes for me. Play this right quick. Yeah. So this is, I think, Ohio Football Officials Association. Okay, so I'm cruising YouTube and I'm trying to find stuff for y'all to watch. This is a pretty good little video on the minutia of what we talked about earlier, instructing your chain crew. Okay, it's a little bit silly, but y'all just watch it.
It's important to remember that the chain crew is part of the chain crew. Your bringing instructions can help make sure that everyone is on the same page and working together. In this video, we're going to discuss the instructions the head linesman should give to the chain crew to avoid most of the mistakes made by a chain crew. As the head linesman, you want to meet with your chain crew a minimum of 15 minutes before the start of the game. If the chain crew is not gathered near the chains, it's not a bad idea to walk over and stand next to the chains. One or more of the chain crew may see you and make their way over to meet you. Whether you're working a varsity or non-varsity game, as I said before, the chains need to be inspected and the chain crew instructed a minimum of 15 minutes before the game starts. Begin by introducing yourself to each member of the crew and then asking which one of them will be running the down box. Record the name of the person who's running the down box on your game card. You will be working with that person the most. One of the things I like to do is to ask my down box official to give me down and distance on each play. Next, find out who will be working the chains and record their names on your game card as well. Finally, if there's a fourth member of the chain crew, that person will be handling the clips. Find out the clip person's name and record that as well. You should always utilize 2 clips. If there are only 3 members of the chain crew, the down box official will also have to handle the clip duties. More on that later. Emphasize to the chain crew that they are officials. As officials, they cannot cheer, coach, or make disparaging remarks about the other team. Tell them that if they have any problems with coaches or players obstructing them or the chains, they are to report the problem to you and you will take care of it. They should not engage with the players or coaches on their own. Lastly, tell them to put their cell phones away and stay focused on the game. The next thing you want to do is to make sure that the chains are indeed 10 yards long. To do this, walk the chains onto the football field and place one of the stakes on the right side
Can you fast forward any about 30 seconds?
of the one is not 10 yards in length or the length. You should confirm that there is a piece of 5 yards away. If the tape is not there or in the wrong position, place a new piece of tape on the chains at the correct spot. An easy way to keep a piece of tape handy
Keep
for
going.
this necessity or shorten chain. I am not going to read all these to you. I am going to touch on some of the highlights here in the next bit of video. He instructs his chain crew.
Okay, you see me?
Will play. I want you to notice a couple of things here. Notice where the chain crew is situated. They're on the back of the restricted zone line. They're 6 feet away from the field. The official is a foot or 2 off the field. He's got a wide stance, comfortable, ready to go. Let's take a look at this. As the offense gains forward progress, the head linesman sidesteps down the field, squares off, and then comes in and signals the next down. That is a signal for the box to move and to roll to the next down. The head linesman then indicates where the down marker should be placed, and we're ready for the next play. This next example illustrates the interaction between the head linesman and the chain crew when a first down is achieved. Again, head linesman sidesteps down, squares off nicely, kills the clock because we've got a first down, and then signals the chains to move. Notice the box official is setting up on a hash mark. When we have a first down or a change of possession, it's advantageous to set up on a line. By setting up on a line, you reduce the need for measurements, and both offense and defense know exactly where the line to gain is. As instructed, the box official arrives first, and the down marker officials follow, setting up behind the box official. The head linesman backs off the field and indicates the placement of both the box and the stake by tapping on his leg. Once the down markers are set and the chain is stretched, the clip official will place the
All
new
right,
clip
all right,
on
go
the
ahead.
5 or 10 yard line
Get ready.
closest to the box.
Cue up that
Before you go
next
out on
one.
the field,
Cue up that 7-man, and let's just talk about this for a second. I like most things that this gentleman did. He got the names of his crew members. There's something psychological about you and me getting to know each other if I know your name. There's something psychological about you helping me if I took the time to express interest in you and found out your name. You're just more likely to help me if we have that quick icebreaker bond, if you want to call it. I always get the name of my, I don't care if it's a 7th grade game. I want to know Billy's name, Johnny's name, because I want to be able to call their name, and I tell them my name. So we introduced ourselves, we've broken the ice, and I'm more likely to get something out of you that I need later on. The same holds true with ball persons. You don't complain about your ball boy not doing what you ask if you don't know his name. I'm just telling you. And if you're not willing to coach him during the game, during the first quarter, to get 3 more good quarters out of him, don't gripe about him. Because you haven't taken, you're a manager of those guys. So I can get on my soapbox a little bit. What I didn't like about what he did was he came down, he gave his first down. They moved a little quick. I think it was for video purposes, so, they just did the best they could. But he brought them down, but then he sat there and he watched them. Why do I need to watch guys move the chains? I don't need to watch that. I need to watch here. Once they're here, I'm back here. I'm focused here. So there's no need to watch your chain crew. And once that box is set, referee can go. Okay? All right. Any questions so far? Talking points? On your 7-man?
Buddy, one thing I wanted to ask you about that you might enlighten on is that back when you were setting up during scrimmage plays and stuff, when you talk about the play that goes to, say the run play or the pass play goes out of bounds over there on the side, judge's side of the field,
Yeah.
and then the field judge is on the opposite side over there, you know, he's dead ball officiating or whatever. But either way, whichever side of the field the ball goes out of bounds on, or on the opposite side of you, the offside F or S needs to go ahead and start getting himself set up at 20, 21, 22 yards away, because whenever the covering official is having to get a football in and throw it in and break up the groups of tackles or whatever like that, it's so much easier for me.
Oh, yeah.
If Buddy's the offside official, and I'm over here cleaning up the play, and it's over with, and then I'm backing up to get in my position, it's a lot easier for me just to look across over there at Buddy, and he's already set up at 20, 21, 22 yards, versus me trying to sit there and count as I'm backing up to figure out where I am.
Yeah.
Look across over there at Buddy, and he's already set up on the offside over there, and then I can look across, and I can just get on the yard line that he's on.
Yeah, what Frizz is trying to say, I just say a different way. I think he said it well, but I just say it a different way, is that if all the heyday is over on his side of the field, then I can go ahead and set up and get my 20. Because I know, I have nothing to do. Just go get my 20, get my count, check the time, whatever. Okay, and then Frizz, who's busy over there in the sidelines or whatever, he doesn't have to count 22. I've already done it for him. He just comes and lines up across from me, and we're good to go. The same thing really holds true with these fast offenses with counting the defense. Your back judge and your off official, the guy who doesn't have much to do, he needs to go ahead and count his 11. And if I'm just barely getting to my spot when they snap the ball, I really don't have time to count to 11. No excuses, but there's just a lot of times sometimes. That may happen 5 times during a game. But it's good if those two have already communicated, got their 11, and boom, I've got my, if Frisbee can get his spot and he's like, you guys got it, there's a lot of trust that goes on, that can be built into that. All right, so this guy does a real good job of saying this Ohio Football Officials Association. I think it's going to fill in a lot of the blanks and what I maybe have left out
Officials
from
that are out of frame,
before.
head linesman, line judge, and the referee are all standing at the receiving team's goal line. As the play begins, the question becomes, which players should each official be keying on? So here we go. This will show you the keys for each position. I know this is a little bit busy. You'll see that 6 officials are responsible for the 11 players. The referee does not have a key, but all 6 officials have individual responsibilities on the kickoff. You can see that the widest players are covered by the 2 officials at the pylons rather. That's the line judge and the head linesman. And then as we come in, the side judge and the field judge have the number 2 and number 3 players. The umpire and the back judge have 4 and 5, and the back judge also has the kicker. If the kicker happens to be the 5th player in on the umpire side, he skips over that kicker and takes the next player over towards the back judge's side. Once the kick is away and the officials at the pylons read that the kick no longer threatens their pylon, they should be moving forward in the direction of the arrows shown. The referee has the responsibility to determine whether the ball crosses the goal line or not. One additional point on responsibilities during a kick. After the ball is kicked, the umpire and the back judge will curl into the field and proceed no more than 8 to 10 yards down the field. The field judge and the side judge should proceed no more than 10 yards down the field. The field judge and the side judge both have sideline responsibilities to the goal line, and the back judge has primary goal line responsibilities on any return. So here's another kickoff, and this one's a little goofy. It looks like it's going to be stopped for a short return, and it turns into something. And a couple of our officials get fooled by this. That's kind of a weird squibby kick. We see the head linesman wind the clock as he should. Now it looks like he stopped right there. Head linesman's actually coming into spot, and then he gets away. Now I want you to keep your eye on the bottom of the screen and look at our side judge. He is 20 yards downfield when he's only supposed to go 10. I'm sure he's thinking he's going to help spot, but we don't want to be caught there because you got to maintain that cushion. You've got goal line responsibilities down the sideline. Let's take a look at it again from this angle. We'll see our umpire curl in as he should. And we're going to see a good job by the back judge maintaining that cushion. He's going to come into frame here in just a second as the play develops. There he is, backpedaling, maintaining that cushion. Good job. Now let's discuss receiver keys based on formations at the snap. Remember, keys can change if the offensive team shifts or player goes in motion, and therefore a snapshot must be taken by the crew when the ball is snapped. Crew members should stay with their keys until they are no longer pressed to be fouled, and their key has left the official's primary area, and there is a new receiver in your area to pick up. Remember, you never want to be officiating air. If you do switch receivers, be sure to communicate with the crewmate that you switched with, confirming that they made the switch as well. If you're using radios, this should be easy. If you're not using radios, you need to discuss the communication signals with your crewmates during the pregame. Here we see a balanced formation and the keys for each official at the snap. As the play starts, the back will slant to the head linesman's side, while the head linesman's key will drag toward the line judge side of the field. This is a good example of a situation where the head linesman and line judge should switch receiver responsibilities. The running back is not pressed, and therefore the head linesman can stay with his original key a little while longer to be sure that he is not fouled. As we just discussed, keys can change due to motion or a shift. This play is a primary example of that. Here are the initial keys. Now watch what happens as we have a shift. The head linesman's key now goes from the player that was in motion to the back. The line judge switches from the back to the second receiver in, and the back judge's key switches from the second to the third player, the receiver in. Here's another play where the keys are the same as our previous play. Now I want you to keep an eye on the receivers on the bottom of your screen, the trips to the line judge side. They're going to cross, but there is absolutely no reason to switch on this play. Keys remain the same. Now we have an interception. Once the pass has been intercepted, responsibilities change. The flank officials, the head linesman and the line judge, should try to reverse fade and give as much cushion up to 22 yards as they can to the intercepting team. They have goal line responsibility. The deep flank officials, the field judge and the side judge, now have responsibility for progress. Here we see a balanced formation and the corresponding keys. The head linesman's key is going to go in motion, but the key here is where was the player when the ball is snapped. As you can see, he is still basically on the head linesman's side. The head linesman stays with this player. Now we're going to watch a run, and we've got the line judge throwing a flag for holding. He's looking out in front of the play, as he should. See if I can get this to actually stop. Now the field judge is straight lined on this play. If he'd have thrown a flag, that would have been fine. Comes in, gets a spot from the line judge, and the line judge reports the foul to the referee. Okay, so here we see a formation, trips strong to the head linesman's side of the field. Here are the keys. Now this is an example of a play where we would have a switch. Watch the head linesman and side judge's keys. Run this in slow motion. Now, at that point, we would not have a switch. This the side judge's key is definitely threatened and pressed. But now they're apart, and now we'd switch. So here we have the same formation. Here are the keys. And even though there's some crossing going on in this route, no one should be switching. Let's take a look at that in slow motion. Watch the head linesman's key. The second receiver in. He's being jostled there. No foul. But he should be on that. And now the back judge rules on catch, no catch. Now, this is a simple running play, but this is a great example of what we expect out of the deep flanks when a ball goes into the sideline. You can see this is only a 2 or 3 yard gain, but in comes the field judge. He's keeping his eye on extracurricular activity. The line judge is able to take care of the spot. They're both watching player activity. This is the kind of movement we want out of the deep flanks. Okay, this play, we're just using this as a reminder to the deep flanks that you've got to maintain a cushion. Our deep flank should be 20 to 22 yards off the line of scrimmage at the snap, and you want to maintain about a 10 to 15 yard cushion at all times between you and the ball carrier. Let's take a look at this play.
20 yards. He said 10 to 15. Keep 20.
Okay, we see our field judge in the frame right there. He's got maybe a 7 yard cushion. Not the worst thing in the world, but we want be a little bit deeper than that.
Right here, he should be all the way
Why?
down at the 30.
Because you do not have progress, but you do have goal line
He
responsibilities.
just got caught watching. I mean, I don't know what this.
So we just talked about cushion. Here we see a good example of that. The ball is at the B47. Our side judge is at the B25, exactly 22 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Now, I think he maintains a pretty good cushion here.
This is
Yeah.
good.
Coming back.
This is better.
Still
He's
maintains
given-
a 20 yard cushion.
He's getting yards gained on
Okay.
him, so he's giving away.
At the end of the play,
Should have got a little
15
more.
yards away. He should be killing the clock right here. But otherwise, good job. Okay, let's talk about punts.
That's good.
The Flyers,
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Appreciate y'all's attention. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, there we go. Thanks, buddy, for that. That was a lot of good information. Y'all finished the week well. Go out and represent us well. Anything else? Y'all dismissed. Oh, no meeting next week. Thank you, guys. Somebody left a bag in the new members meeting.